The cave did not know it was famous. It opened quietly in the limestone cliffs overlooking the wide, restless sea, what would one day be called the Bristol Channel. Wind brushed past its mouth, carrying salts in the cries of distant birds. Rain seeped into its cracks. Time passed without counting itself. Inside the cave, long before names like Britain, Wales, or history existed, a body was prepared with care. This is the story of that body. This is the story of a man the modern world would misunderstand, rename, and finally learn to know again. Before the Red. He was born into a world of movement. The land was cold but alive. Ice lay heavy on the distant hills, and the wind carried the bite of long winters, but the valleys were green in summer, and the rivers ran clear. Herds of mammoth, reindeer, and horse moved across open plains. Humans followed them, not as masters, but as listeners, readers of tracks, students of the land. He was not born into a village, nor into a kingdom. He was born into a band, small, tightly bound by blood, memory, and survival. Fires were their homes, skins were their walls, stories were their maps. From childhood, he learned the rhythm of life, when to move, when to wait, when to hunt, when to mourn. He learned how to shape stone into blades sharp enough to feed a family. He learned how to read the sky for signs of snow and the ground for signs of animals. He learned which berries healed and which killed. But there was something else about him, something the elders noticed early. He listened differently. When the others spoke, he heard not only words but silences. When the fire cracked, he watched the sparks as if they carried meaning. When someone died, he did not look away. The elders said he walked close to the edge, between the seen and the unseen. And in a world like theirs, that was not a weakness. It was a calling. The one who listened. As he grew older, his role became clearer. He was not the strongest hunter, though he could hunt. He was not the loudest voice, though people listened when he spoke. He remembered things others forgot. He remembered the names of the dead. He remembered the paths taken years ago. He remembered the songs that were sung only when the world felt fragile. When a child fell ill, he sat beside them through the night, whispering words taught to him by an elder who had long since returned to the earth. When someone died, he prepared the body, washing it, arranging it, speaking to it softly, as if death were not an ending but a doorway. In time, people began to believe he could hear the ancestors, not in thunder or visions, but in quiet feelings, in dreams that carried warnings, in moments when the fire burned strangely still. He never claimed power, he only listened. A world of ice and beauty. The world around him was harsh, but it was not empty. Great animals walked the plains. Ivory tusks gleamed in the cold light. Wolves watched from a distance, their eyes bright with intelligence. Birds returned each year as faithfully as the sun. The people moved with the seasons, never staying too long in one place. Caves were shelters, not homes, used in storms, in winters, or in moments of ritual. And there was one cave the people treated differently. The cave in the cliff, the one above the sea. They believed it was a place where the world thinned, where the breath of the ancestors lingered, where the living could speak to the dead and be heard. Death comes quietly. He did not die in battle. There was no wound to explain his passing, no broken bones, no sign of violence. Death came quietly, as it often did in those days, through illness, exhaustion, or simply the slow closing of a body that had given everything it had. He knew it was coming. In his final days, he spoke gently, tying loose ends with words rather than things. He taught a young woman the old songs. He showed a boy how to prepare the red earth they used in rituals. When he could no longer walk, they carried him. When he could no longer speak, they stayed. And when he finally stopped breathing, no one panicked. They had done this before, but never like this. The Red Earth. They chose the cave overlooking the sea. They washed his body carefully, removing the marks of life, dirt, sweat, blood, until he was clean as a newborn. Then they brought the red earth, ochre, ground stone, rich with iron, glowing like dried blood. To them, red was not death. Red was life. It was the color of warmth, of birth, of the sun at dawn. It was the color that returned strength to the cold body. They covered him in it, his skin, his face, his hands, until he shone softly in the firelight. They placed him gently in the cave, arranging his body with care as if he were sleeping. Beside him, they laid gifts, tools he had used, ivory beads carved with patience, objects that had meaning only to those who knew him. These were not offerings to gods. They were reminders to the ancestors, to the land, to time itself. This person mattered. A burial misunderstood. The cave closed its mouth. Wind and water sealed the story away. Thousands of years passed. Ice retreated, forests grew, seas rose, the land broke apart into islands. New peoples arrived, with new languages, new beliefs, new ways of burying their dead. And then, in the 19th century, the cave was opened again. A man entered with tools, notebooks, and assumptions. He saw red-stained bones. He saw beads. He saw beauty. And he made a mistake. He called the body the Red Lady of Paviland, not because the bones spoke, but because his world could not imagine a man buried with such care. The long silence. For years, the bones lay in museums and books under the wrong name. They were described as female. They were described as Roman. They were described as an oddity. The man himself remained silent. He had waited thousands of years. He could wait longer. The truth returns. Science, like time, has a way of correcting itself. Bones were studied again, dates were tested, assumptions were challenged. Slowly, carefully, the truth emerged. The Red Lady was not a lady. He was a man, and he was far older than anyone had imagined. Tens of thousands of years old, one of the earliest known ceremonial burials in Britain. A person of meaning, a listener, a bridge between worlds. What remains? He has no name we can speak, but he is not lost. He lives in the red earth. He lives in the cave. He lives in the understanding that humanity has always cared for its dead, long before temples, long before kings, long before writing. Someone mattered enough to be remembered. And now, finally, he is remembered correctly, not as a mistake, not as a curiosity, but as a human being. The cave still listens. The cave still faces the sea. Wind still moves through it. And if you stand there quietly, with respect, you might feel it too. The sense that long ago, someone was laid to rest here with love, ceremony, and deep understanding of life and death. Not a lady, not a legend, but a man covered in red, listening even now.